Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and as you probably already know by now, it's such a big news. Even people that I know that don't follow new geopolitics is talking to me about it. The Trump and Zelensky, shit show over in the White House, and it looks something like this.
Destruction of your country.
Yes, but
Destruction of your country.
yes, but
Yeah, it looks something like this. So, not I don't remember this scene, but it seems like it. No, yeah. So anyway, this has become global news, and then the best thing about this is that this entire thing was live telecast across the entire freaking world. I have even seen Chinese tabloid newspaper in Singapore was also reporting on this. The whole freaking world is talking about this, and yeah, and is there's good and bad. Before I start, I want to say that this is going to be the full breakdown of my opinions regarding this shit show over the White House, and it's not the so I will not like go minute by minute of this the entire conversation and the argument because it's kind of pointless. So I'm going to talk about all the surrounding consequences and whatnot. But yeah, as I said, this thing was fully telecast, and it's good in the sense that people literally get to watch fully the positions between of Zelensky and the position of Donald Trump. And it really depends on where you stand on the political spectrum. You will agree with one side and disagree with the other side. And so far, I feel like it still mainly divide down the line of people who are pro-Ukraine versus people who are just neutral or pro-Russia. It's still pretty much the same line, as far as I can tell. And only people who are pro-Ukraine have thought that Zelensky is on the right in this argument. So far, the neutrals have basically seen this as like, what the hell is happening? Why is Zelensky not respecting Donald Trump in the White House? They are guests and whatnot, and like sabotaging their own deals. Whilst the people who are pro-Ukraine thinks that it is Donald Trump that's attacking Zelensky and not siding with the victim. So. And as such, as usual, also neutrals tends to be more pro-peace. Like my position with Palestine, a lot of people disagree because they are anti-Israel. They cannot see my point about just don't fight. But they care more about the line in the sand. They care more about the so-called territorial integrity. The same thing is happening over in this situation. The people who are pro-Ukraine refuse to accept any form of loss of territorial integrity, and they keep saying that they are the victims, just like the pro-Palestine people, exactly the same thing. That's why I say you guys are the same, but no, then of course you say, no, we are different, but it's the same. Actually, it's the same thing. The neutrals will just say, no, I just want to stop to see people dying. I just want the war to end. People can stop dying. I don't care about the line in the sand. And that's basically Donald Trump's position. He's literally neutral about Ukraine and Russia. He's only pro-United States. Just like I always say, I'm only pro-Singapore. And being pro-Trump or pro-United States is good for Singapore, then I will be pro-Trump and pro-Singapore. But but Russia and Ukraine is literally nothing to do with me and my country. So the same thing, for Trump, in his perspective, it doesn't matter. And he's basically, if Zelensky wants to fight, then the mineral deal will be the good way to at least justify United States to continue to send aid, because they cannot account for all the money that was sent by Biden. So now Trump wants to make a deal. So that's the whole point of the deal, for Donald Trump to feel like the United States did not make a loss at all in terms of the Ukraine issue. And that in the future, Ukraine demands for more ammunition and equipment, at least is guaranteed to be paid for. So that's the point of the whole mineral deal. The entire deal is not pro-Ukraine at all. In terms of for Donald Trump's this proposal is basically just to secure the national interest of the United States. That's about it. So, and of course, he just want to make a deal and stop the war. And if stopping the war means Ukraine lose territory, that's a price Donald Trump willing to pay because it's not his country. So that's also the main problem. That Zelensky have, that he cannot accept that they have to lose anything. So, and which is why there is all this argument and debates and quarrel that happens live on screen, which is really a poor sense of diplomacy. In fact, this is the worst diplomatic incident or the worst the shit show of diplomacy I've ever seen since, also with Zelensky, that caused the Ukraine war. The entire diplomatic shit hitting the fan, where the none of the Western country, including United States under Biden, or Zelensky himself, or any of these NATO country or European countries were willing to talk sense. They all insisted, despite ultimatum from Putin, that continued insistence that Ukraine will join NATO will result in war, and then nobody cares. So war happened. That is the last instance of the worst diplomatic circumstances or incident that I've seen. And this is the next one. This is just as bad, because this, like you guys always hear me say, right, that every country needs a big brother, right? I always say this because that is the reality. Every smaller country needs a big brother, and there's only a few big brothers out there you can depend on, and of course they are of different sizes, but the big ones, the three major ones, is Russia, China, and United States. India is a small extent, because India is not that influential in the global stage. But India could be one, but not that big. The real big one is actually Russia, China, and United States. Particularly Russia and United States. These are the two biggest brothers. These are the people that you depend on if you need to go to war. They will be supplying you with ammunition, military equipment, and military technologies. These are the only few countries that could. China to a smaller extent, but mainly Russia and United States. So you can see the level of war we are talking about, because one of this party of war is one of these biggest brother they can ever find, which is Russia. So the only other big brother that could potentially, or only other two big brothers that can potentially help you to fight against Russia, or at least give you the kind of equipment to deal with Russia, would be another big brother, which is United States, or is going to be China. China, of course, at this moment looks like it's out of the question, but no, United States is the only one left. European Union as a whole, Europe is as a whole is no longer any power. They are not a major superpower at all. Not France, not United Kingdom. Their military, they have underspent in their military for too long, for way too many years. They have not focused on their military. So generally speaking, Europe as a whole is horribly weak, militarily speaking. So Poland is building up. So Poland is going to be a major player in the future in the regional politics. But generally speaking, you cannot push United States aside. But that's exactly what Zelensky has done by going into the White House and behaving as if it's okay to behave the way he did, like how he dealt with the European leaders. Because Zelensky has been very powerful in the realm of the European politics. In fact, he's probably the most powerful person in Europe right now, Zelensky, because his words and his action could potentially sink many politicians' political career in Europe, because of many of these European countries have went all in to support Ukraine, because they already go into the narrative that supporting Ukraine is the only way to guarantee freedom and democracy, and that Russia is the ultimate evil, is a massive aggressor, and they will come after Europe the rest of Europe after Ukraine. If you have this narrative, then you cannot run away from the responsibility to help Ukraine. That is a fact, right? No, if you say that no, this is the front line right now, Russia is going to come after Ukraine, then the incentive is to fight Russia in Ukraine right now. Not just sending equipment, but to actually send troops. But then somehow, no, they don't want to send troops. So I wrote on Twitter, from now on, I'm going to advocate for Europe to send troops to Ukraine, to literally join the war, because I had enough of this hypocrisy. I'll show you why in a while. So so Trump basically says Zelensky, you either make a deal or we are out, which is this how deal making works. In case you never gone into a business deal making or in any kind of a deal making situation, I'm not sure what other situation you need to do deal makings. Maybe with your wife or with your husband, with your kids. There is always a line that you must draw to say that if you cannot agree to this, then there's no deal. Then everything is out and off the table. There must be this kind of line, because if you go into a deal, go into a negotiation, and you cannot have no deal, then you are almost 100% going to compromise and lose out. Basically, Trump is a master negotiator. He do not make a deal that he loses, at least not by much. So basically it's no deal, so no deal. And so the from my understanding, the meeting between Zelensky and Trump has cut short. They have a schedule, right? So they basically ended way earlier, and Zelensky was sent off without Donald Trump saying goodbye. So Donald Trump welcomed Zelensky in, but when he left without Donald Trump saying goodbye. So definitely everything went to shit. There is no deal being signed. The mineral deal was not signed at all. So there was no talk about it, and which is also why there's no more press conference after the meeting. So whatever happened and transpired in this Oval Office presser has basically spilled over into the negotiations to make the negotiation a non-go ahead. So there is no deal right now, which means situation has went to shit. And this is probably the worst diplomatic relationship between Ukraine and United States since forever. They have never been so bad at each other. The relationship have never been so bad. And that's because Zelensky cannot control his mouth. And this is something that I said many times also against my own leader, my own country's leader. It is important to control your mouth. You cannot just keep mouthing away, because it is one thing to have thoughts. You can have very negative thoughts about Trump, and I clearly understand, it's very easy to hate him. But diplomatically, you are not representing yourself. You're representing the country. You are talking as a country. Then you have to control your emotions. But whatever happened, this is just terrible. So it went so bad that Kathleen Collins, I think is a journalist if I'm not wrong, is a White House correspondent of CNN, basically said that this went into a shouting match. And then he basically said that she took this photo, and the Ukrainian ambassador has his head in the hands by this point. He's like, oh my God, what have you done? And I'm quite sure the ambassador have done a lot of work behind the scene to make sure that there is a deal, somewhat a deal, but it's all gone out of the air, and she knows what's happening. The deal, in case you don't know, was modified after negotiations to become a fund. They create a fund, like a joint company, which they will share 50-50 revenues between Ukraine and United States. So basically tying United States with Ukraine by trade, which means that there is a national interest and for United States to continue to support Ukraine. That is the whole point of the deal. This is the first part of the deal, to draw United States into the Ukrainian situation so that there is a deal that protects Ukraine. That's actually the point of the deal. It's not just getting the things paid, but also in terms of the diplomatic situation. When Donald Trump goes into negotiation with Putin, he can say that, okay, we have a deal with Ukraine. So no, this is now our problem now. It's our national interest now. So you have to give us face. Because I already have these things, I have 50% of this revenue is going to come to the United States, and this is going to be our issue. We cannot not care about Ukraine anymore, and Putin will have to negotiate around it, and see how to make it work with the United States. But this deal is gone. So objectively speaking, there is nothing tying down the United States with Ukraine, and that's a bad thing for the peace negotiation or surrender documents or whatever you want to call it. Geopolitically, Ukraine becomes very useless for United States, and not just that. Lindsey Graham, Graham, I don't know how to pronounce that word suddenly, made a very good point. Zelensky basically have made himself into a person that you cannot make a deal with. You cannot trade with him, and he have made Ukraine become uninvestable. You can't invest in Ukraine because you cannot trust the person on the other side to do right by the partner. So that is a problem right now, and it's not wrong. It's not wrong because Zelensky have no plans to end the war. This is quite clear, and I did say that in the Munich Security Conference video. I did say that Ukraine has won the Munich Security Conference. They made it hell for United States at the Munich Security Conference, and the Americans never forgotten it, I have to say. So the Americans clearly is already very unhappy with Ukraine, but they continue to try and to do something so that the war can end. People can stop dying. That's the position of the United States. It's very similar to my position. I just want the war to end. I don't give a damn about the line in the sand. So that's what Americans are thinking too. Under this administration, their thinking is different from Biden's administration. In Biden's administration, they just using Ukraine to probably launder money, do corruptions, and at the same time trying to see if they can collapse Russia, to make Russia's life hell, and making use of Ukraine to use Slav to fight Slavs. That is the previous administration. This current administration is more humane. They just want the war to end. But no, that's not Ukraine's position. That's not what Zelensky wants. Zelensky wants weapons and ammunition. In fact, if they can, they want NATO troops to be on the ground to continue to fight Russia to the eventual victory of Ukraine and the eventual defeat or surrender, or for Russia to give up. Well, that's what Zelensky wants. And Putin clearly don't want that. I would say it's not impossible for the smaller power to ever achieve this. For example, Vietnam has managed to defeat China. When China invaded northern part of Vietnam, when Vietnam went into Cambodia to remove the Khmer Rouge, because the Khmer Rouge have attacked Vietnam, and also that they were massacring their own people. So Vietnam had enough. They entered Khmer Rouge, but the Khmer entered Cambodia or Kampuchea. At the time, the name is different, and then because it's a protectorate, they are guaranteed by China. So China entered war with Vietnam, and they suffered heavy losses. They managed to push a little bit into northern part of Vietnam, but then they start to suffer the same things that the Americans suffered. Then, and because the Vietnam War just ended not too long before that, and China after that realizing that they are not going to achieve their strategic objective, so they retreated and declared their own victory. Vietnam also, of course, lost a lot of men in this small little war with China, but no, Vietnam essentially won. They managed to pretty much mostly resecure back their own territory. Ukraine is probably thinking the same thing. However, the circumstances is different. Russia is not fighting for themselves. China was fighting for, the country, a country that they supposedly trying to guarantee. So there is a different thing. So Russia have basically brainwashed themselves into believing that this war is existential for them. So you and Ukraine of course also think that this is existential. And now you have two parties that's both thinking that this is existential. One side have to give. So either they diplomatically decide that one side is willing to give up certain things or give up the war at all or entirely give up fighting, or they have to fight it out until the end. And so this is looking like more likely to be the case. We're going to see them fight all the way to the end because Donald Trump is not going to help anymore. So that is the current situation. The deal is probably most likely off the table. So the Zelensky, on Fox News, continue to repeat that they want security guarantees. And basically, he's just repeating himself many times. That's because I listen to Zelensky quite too much. So there's nothing particularly special. Basically, he just wants, I would say in plain, he says a lot of things in many different ways. He keep beating around the bush. He said that he wants peace and whatnot. I can tell you simply, he just wants Russia to retreat entirely out of Ukraine. That's it. That is the peace that Zelensky is looking for. And it does not matter to Zelensky what way to achieve that. In what way to force Russia out of Ukraine. Be it a war, be it to fight to the last Ukrainian, be it World War III. It does not matter to Zelensky. As long as Russia eventually retreat out of Ukraine, that's the aim. So if this is the kind of a plan that he have, then Donald Trump is not wrong to say that Zelensky have no interest in the peace deal. So which is correct, because what Zelensky wants, that is no longer a peace deal. That is basically a victory, a military victory, or a total total capitulation by Russia in this war of aggression. Because this is what it is. This is a war of aggression by Russia. It does not matter what is the casus belli Putin says or what Russia's try to justify the war. It is a war of aggression because they're aggressively trying to end the Ukraine's NATO dreams. So, however, this Zelensky keeps saying, a ceasefire without security guarantees is no point, and he's still trying to try to spin it as much as he can, saying that they're still friends of the United States, because he knows. You see, I just want to hear that America is on our side and America will stay with us, not with Russians, with us. That's it. But this is of course just it's not real. The reason why he say all these things is because he cannot just cut the bridge entirely. Because as I said, the United States is the only big brother left that Zelensky can depend on, that Ukraine can depend on, but that's about it. There's no way out. So the latest rumor is basically what I did say on multiple occasions, and I did say on I think on Telegram and Twitter before as well, that there is a possibility. So these rumors, because this is an anonymous source, so I don't really trust an anonymous source, but basically say that this might end with full cutting of military aid to Ukraine by the Trump administration. So this is the rumor, but this is actually echoing what I think might happen. So the senior administration officials said that to Washington Post anonymously, which also of course means might be fake news, that this might affect $1 billion worth of radar, vehicles, munition, and missiles that's awaiting shipment under the Presidential Drawdown Authority. So at this moment, Donald Trump have not cut military aid to Ukraine, but the military aid continued to flow into Ukraine, which is what Zelensky did confirm a month ago. But with this latest fracas, Trump being Trump, because this is the art of the deal. If you are not brutal enough, people don't believe you. Trump have to make his point that if you really want to play hardball with United States, then we're going to show you what hardball looks like, which means Trump is likely to cut off all military aids to Ukraine. In fact, if this thing continues to go downhill, what I think will happen is that Donald Trump is going to start sanctioning or tariffing any countries that continue to support Ukraine. The reason is not to support Russia. The reason is to force Ukraine into the negotiation table and sign that letter of surrender. That will be what likely to happen. To force a peace, it does not matter what the Ukrainians think. And if the Ukrainians want to fight on, then they will have to fight on without support by anyone, unless they are willing to take the full economic might of United States. That is what I think is going to happen. And Ukraine will fight on. And then they will start to lose the war. This is what I think is going to happen. The official dismissed claim that this test exchange is pre-planned. He said the efforts were made to strike a more positive tone ahead of the meeting, and I can tell you this is true. Marco Rubio is the one that was negotiating with the Zelensky's team, and he has zero love for the Ukrainians because he got screwed over in Munich, and he's very, very pissed off, and he's really, really detesting of the Ukrainians. And you can literally see it from his body language that he really hates to be there, but he have no choice because he's the Secretary of State, and the entire thing just went to shit. And Marco Rubio is he's not as eloquent as JD Vance, and of course he's not as powerful as Donald Trump because he's in front of Donald Trump. Then he cannot be disrespecting the hierarchy, and which is why we saw the exchange between JD Vance and Zelensky. JD Vance was trying to protect Donald Trump. He's trying to protect his president. He's trying to say that you should behave yourself because you are now being very disrespectful. And Zelensky just double down, and to the point. Then Donald Trump was like, yeah, this need to happen. Then he let it happen, and then he then shut Zelensky up after he heard enough. If you have ever watched The Apprentice, you might have seen scenes like this during The Apprentice, where Donald Trump was the boss, and then all these people want to get a job with the Trump organization, and then these scenes actually mirrors a bit of some of the scenes in The Apprentice, where Donald Trump was just keeping quiet, just watching, and you see the contestant just fighting each other, debating. Then in the end, he's like, "You are fired. You are fired. You are fired." Just that, in this position, he can't fire them, but it's very similar. He basically tells Zelensky that, it's over. So this is so this is the situation that is going to likely happen. This is what I think is going to happen. Because I followed Trump for a long time. I used to be his fan when he was still running The Apprentice, and then I supported his running for presidency because I was worried that a Hillary presidency would be for the world. And luckily he won, which I actually predicted correctly because I was watching RT to understand US politics, and that RT is very spot on a lot of things. Which made me realize a lot of problems that was happening within United States, which I realized that if this is the case, then Donald Trump is going to win. So indeed he won, and then he had 4 years. So prior to him declaring running for president, Donald Trump become very irritating. He's very, very noisy and mouthy and keep attacking Obama, and sometimes the attacks is just ridiculous, and I can't stand it. But when he was the president, he actually outperformed what I thought he could do. In fact, this current new term, this 1 month or so, he also have already outperformed what I think he could do by miles, like no, by multiple times that I thought he can do. So no, he always outperformed what I think. So there's a good reason why I like Trump. I mostly support most of the things that he do and say. Of course, he can be very hard to grasp, but because I've been supporting him and I've observing him for a long time, I can tell you this is not good. I already say it's not good during the Munich Security Conference issue. This is not good. So that's why I say Donald Trump is likely to going to teach Zelensky a lesson on diplomacy and decorum and respect. And I think he's going to cut aid. I think he's likely to cut aid to Ukraine, and he might even do further by forcing everyone to stop supporting Ukraine. This is what I think. And tariff and sanctions, I won't be surprised on any countries that want to continue to support the war, because he will just label all these European countries or any country that continue to send aid to Ukraine as warmongers. This is what I think is going to happen. And he will continue to talk to Russia, and he will continue to do a deal with Russia. And this time around, it will be without the Europeans. It's not going to be. It will be without the Ukrainians, and things is going further and further away from the best case scenario. And the best case scenario right now for Ukraine is simply a surrender where they only lost the 4 oblasts plus Crimea. That is the best case scenario right now. That means they have to give up the 4 oblasts, Zaporizhia, Kherson, Donetsk, Luhansk, and then also Crimea. So the 4 oblasts plus Crimea, they have to give it up. This is the best case scenario. There's not going to be a better case. So that's the best case scenario, and they're going to not be able to join NATO. They're still going to be able to join EU, but they're going to have a limited army. This is the best case scenario, and basically this is a total win for Russia, and that is the best case. And it's already a total win for Russia. But any other alternative, I think it's going to be worse. And now we are looking at worse. So anyway, that's it. So thank you for watching. Press the like button, subscribe. This is a very long video, a very long opinion video on this. A lot of geopolitical intrigue that I want to share. Yeah, you may disagree, but I'm going to say what I want to say because I've been proven right many times. So yeah, and I think people may not bother. I bother because I want to be able to analyze things as accurately as possible, or as logically as possible, and that's just what I hope to do. And hopefully people can be more educated, or at least more aware of how geopolitics work. Moral ethics doesn't matter that much. At least not the way how you think it works. In diplomacy. So that's it. I'll see you guys in the next update.